video, which is actually the first rendition of OSW's Cars and Coffee. It is a thing now. We started this event bright and early this morning. I believe gates opened at like 8 or something like that, which is, as far as I know, like the earliest time I've ever been here for drifting, which is sick because in autocross, that's pretty status quo to start as soon as you can, but in drift, I haven't seen that yet, so this is really dope that we're kicking it off bright and early in the morning, and then on top of that, you get a free coffee. But today's driving video, in order to keep the theme of having a theme essentially for every driving video, is I'm going to be pointing out a lot of the flaws with the current setup and maybe where I've gone wrong on the car in some areas. Now, nothing's horrible. It is driving far better than it did before in a drifting sense, but there are some things going on that I believe I could definitely tune out that I might have just gone too drastic on. So we're going to go through those things as we go through the video and as I kind of show you, you know, what is occurring and what I'm feeling and how it relates to the changes we're going to make. We're already in the pits. We're all set up. This is Nick's new car, Sir Drip and Drift, which I am so stoked for him to get into because the amount of seat time he's about to get in this thing compared to the S13 is like immeasurable, I'd imagine. It's just such a newer car that he should be able to like max out seat time on this, get a lot of practice, and be in a chassis that he doesn't have to work on all the time. So I'm stoked for him. He's stoked. He's nervous. He's all those things.
Fuck yeah.
But he's ready to go. So this is gonna be sick. So while we're waiting for our session, I'm just gonna point out the first two things that I feel probably are wrong with my car, or the first two things that I want to change very, very shortly. And the first being the ride height. So if you can see here, I'm just like barely meeting the limits here of what I can do, and I actually am scraping the inner liner entirely to the point where it's currently in self-destruct mode. I don't know if you can see that, but it's currently self-clearancing itself. This is just, I think, a little too low, and that could be compromising the rest of the feel of the car. For instance, I do feel quite a bit of understeer when I'm trying to like initiate. So quite a little bit of understeer in a normal situation. Now on top of that, you can see from here, we're running a decent amount of camber. So at this very moment, we're running like 4.5 degrees of camber, which is kind of a lot for this car. And I believe it's too much for the current track width, potentially. So what I'm going to be doing later is backing off the camber to like as far positive as I can, which is around 3.5, and that's actually where the car sat before. So it actually feels really familiar once I do that, hopefully. And I'm hoping that'll help take some of the understeer out, and that could be why I don't feel as much front grip. It's because there just isn't as much, right? done, but this puddle over here is kind of saving them. Say that, like, at this point those are necessarily problems with the car, the too much camber and the ride height being a little too low. I can't say it's like affecting it all too much, but I think that's also a symptom of having like almost 60 degrees of angle. Let's face it, the way that Steven and I set up the kit, it's like maxed out on angle entirely. So it does drive well. It's just, does it drive exactly how I want it to? No. Alright guys, that is going to be it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. I definitely enjoyed throwing it together thanks to the contributions from Jordan Smith Photography as well as Flyday FPV. Big thanks to them for the clips. In the next videos with the FRS, we will be getting into our very first alignment, doing it DIY, doing it ourselves, and trying to figure out what it is I like and what it is I don't like. Was I right about the car being too low? Was I wrong? Is there too much camber? Is there too little? We'll find out, you know? There's only one way to find out, and that is to mess with it and keep on making changes and adjustments to what we see fit. So very excited to move on with this, and I will catch you guys on the next one.